Hello and welcome back to my channel. I am so glad that you decided to click on this video and I hope you're having an amazing day. So this is the start of another 5-star reread. So if you are new to my channel, every month this year I have read a book that I've already read and given 5 stars to. These are books that I've read over a year ago that I've given 5 stars to, obviously, and that I've never done a reread of before. So this is the 4th edition, and I am excited to tell you that the book I chose was Girls with Bright Futures by Tracy Dobmeyer and Wendy Katzman. I read this book back in, I think, 2021, and I loved it so much. This is one of the first books that I reviewed when I started doing the whole Bookstagram thing, and the authors were really kind to me and, like, really cool to be able to talk to them. I remember that being one of, like, the first times that I was able to talk to, like, authors of a book I was reading, and so that was just so cool, and it like, will always stay with me. So let's see what I thought about this the first time.
2,000 years later.
Okay, whew, that took me a while to find. I posted this review on November 12th, 2020, so that's actually a really long time ago. And yeah, so I am not going to read this whole entire thing because this was back when I kind of wrote like novels for my reviews on Instagram, so I'm just going to go ahead and skip to my actual review versus like rehashing the plot. Real quick, I'm about to film my final clip of this video, but I was watching this footage back and like I never actually like read a synopsis or talked about what this book was about in like definitive terms, and that's really embarrassing. So I'm going to go ahead and do that now and just insert this where it belongs because, yeah. College admissions season at Seattle's Elliott Bay Academy is marked by glowing acceptances from top-tier institutions and students as impressive as their parents are ambitious. But when Stanford alerts the school it's allotting only one spot to EBA for their incoming class, 3 mothers discover the competition is more cutthroat than they could have imagined. Tech giant Alicia turns to her fortune and status to fight for her reluctant daughter's place at the top. Kelly, a Stanford alum, leverages her PTA influence and insider knowledge to bulldoze the path for her high-strung daughter. And Marin makes 3, single, broke, and ill-equipped to battle the elite school community aligning to bring her superstar daughter down. That's when, days before applications are due, one of the girls suffers a near-fatal accident, one that doesn't appear to be an accident at all. As the community spirals out of control, 3 women will have to decide what lines they're willing to cross to secure their daughters' futures and keep buried the secrets that threaten to destroy far more than just college dreams. Okay, back to past Laura. From the first chapter, I knew this book was going to be addicting, and I was absolutely right. Early in the book, someone is involved in an accident, and then we flash back to learn how we got there. I got serious Big Little Lies vibes, because although in this book we do know who has the accident, everything else is a total mystery. This was definitely ripped from the headlines from the Felicity Huffman-Lori Loughlin college admissions scandal, but with its own twists and turns I didn't see coming. While there are some very dark parts, I had so much fun reading about the outrageous lengths these women were willing to go to. My jaw quite literally dropped several times while reading. The writing was extremely engaging and the plot was constantly in motion, holding my interest from beginning to end. Grab a fluffy blanket and a glass or a bottle of wine and settle in for this deliciously scandalous novel due to be published February 2nd, 2021. So that is, you know, a pretty glowing review. I definitely gave this 5 stars right off the bat, and this was kind of like one of my earliest books where it was like my rich lady PTA mom drama books, so I do enjoy those. So yeah, I am looking forward to getting this started, and this Thursday it is going to be my book club pick for my Bar 3 book club that I host at the studio I take bar at. So I will definitely be getting to this week. Tonight am working a flight just from Philly to Boston, and then we just have a really short layover and then come back to Philly in the morning. And I am gonna be exhausted because the way that they kind of do this, we take the last flight out at night and then have like a 7 or 8, 6 sometimes hours in a hotel, and then we come right back to the airport. Technically, we are on duty the whole time, so they have to be like very particularly scheduled so that we don't time out because of the way the legalities from the FAA and all of that. But they're pretty easy, and it's a good way to get some hours without like sacrificing a whole day. But I'm going to be pretty sleepy in the morning. I have book club tomorrow at 1 p.m. So looking forward to that as always. It's my book club's 2-year anniversary, so I'm very excited. We are all looking forward to having a nice brunch. And let's see, I just finished that book today. That was Interesting Facts About Space. I'm looking forward to talking about that later because I do have some thoughts. But for now, I'm probably just gonna start reading Girls with Bright Futures, and I have obviously the physical book, but I got the download from the library because I have, obviously, like I said, working a night flight, and it's just way easier to read on my Kindle. So that's what we're gonna be doing, and yeah, I'm gonna go get ready for work, and I will check back in at some point tomorrow.
I've seen a lot of change, been through a lot of pain. Some things are not the same as they were a year ago, but all will be okay. I move on each and every day. The past is where it stays, way back a year ago. I've changed for the better this time. I thought I would never be fine. I strive just to say I'm alright, and for the first time in a long time, I'm alright.
Hello, it is the next day. I filmed a little bit at work yesterday, and I went to book club and had a day of it, and didn't film anything. So here we are. Today is Monday, and I was off all day, but I got a lot of sleep that I very much needed and spent the afternoon kind of reading. I then went to my sister's to give my little baby nephew his first ever bath. He's 1 month old today, and he's just so perfect. And then I went to a bar class, so now I'm home. Christopher's at work, so I'm going to definitely be spending the rest of the evening reading and trying to see how much I can get read. I'm currently sitting at 44%, so I've read a pretty solid chunk of this between today and then the last 2 days when I was working. So I don't know how I'm feeling, to be quite honest. I am still enjoying like the gossipy kind of vibes of moms who have too much time and too much money. But I'm not as, I guess, intrigued. I'm finding it more exhausting, I think, than I did the first time I read it. I feel like I feel so far removed from the world that they're in, and I'm having a hard time believing that these things are, like, realistic in any way. Not, like, for example, the school, this is what has happened so far, since I didn't really say that. So all 3 of these girls, Chrissy, Winnie, and Brooke, go to the Elliott Bay Academy, this very, very well-known private school and very expensive, and it's like guarantee getting them into like the best colleges and everything. And so for at the beginning of the book, we hear that for early admission, they all want to go to Stanford really bad. I guess that was kind of important. They all want to go to Stanford, and they've gotten notice from the guidance counselor that basically only one of the students from this school is going to get into Stanford early admission because of all the student athletes that they have already accepted and that have already committed. I have no idea if this is a real thing that happens. It seems very strange to me, but I really don't know. I mean, I certainly don't remember anything like this, but I also didn't go to like a fancy schmancy private school for high school or for college. Well, I did go to a private, whatever. There wasn't competition like this, I guess. I was not applying to an Ivy Plus, I've never heard, but they keep saying. So that was not an issue for me. But I am like, so one of the girls, Brooke, her mom, Alicia, is like this huge tech CEO, and she employs Marin, who is Winnie's mom. They don't have a lot of money, and Alicia pays Winnie's tuition, and Brooke and Winnie used to be best friends, but then something happened, and we don't really know why they're not anymore. Chrissy's mom is Kelly, and she is like a super busybody. Like, she's up in everyone's business, PTA mom. She's literally going to do anything to get her kid into Stanford. And like, her and her husband both went there. So they're like, well, she's a double legacy. And Brooke, Alicia, the CEO lady's daughter, doesn't really want to go to Stanford. She's basically like, her mom wants her to go there. And so that's basically where she is. She's not a super great student. Meanwhile, Winnie, who really can't afford to go without Alicia helping pay for it, is like a superstar academic student and like all around just like great candidate. So hopefully that makes sense. I just threw a lot of names at you, but I mean, I don't know. It just seems so far from like reality for me right now that I'm definitely enjoying it less than I think I did the first time. That's not to say that I will be like that throughout the rest of the book, but right now it just feels like very like surface level and like kind of superficial, and there's nothing wrong with that. I definitely have been known to love books like that. However, I feel weird that I gave this a 5-star with that in mind, because it definitely seems like something I would have thought more of like a 4, 3.5. Like, for something that had no real, like, tons of substance, I can't really remember why I would give this 5 stars, even if I really liked it. So, I don't know. And I read this at a time when I was very much rating books based on, like, their perceived, like, value to the world at large rather than my own enjoyment, which is what I've been doing the last couple years. Has been like, I don't care if I gave Lord of the Flies 2 stars, and I gave, like, some Sophie Kinsella book 5, because it's based on my own enjoyment, not on, like, is this literature? So we will see how I continue to feel about this. I'm going to spend a lot of tonight kind of getting through it, and tomorrow I'm getting my hair done, so I should have a lot of time while my color does its thing to read and check back in when I have more to say. But so far, I'm not fully sold that this is going to be a 5-star again. And sorry for the weird lighting. It's sunset, but I didn't turn lights on because I'm lazy. So I will see you in a little bit. Okay, so welcome back. We are finished with Girls with Bright Futures. It is a couple days later. My hair is shorter. I don't know if you can tell, but it's definitely shorter and blonder. So yes, it's definitely a different day. I am actually right now like 3 days ahead of the last clip you saw. I was reading, but I just didn't really have any time to update. So this is my final update of the video. So I finished this a few days ago, and last night had my Bar 3 book club about it. We had an awesome discussion. So many kind of differing opinions, but like same at the bottom line. There was only, I think, one girl that really didn't like it, but she did offer like some pretty good, insightful opinions. So it was a really productive meeting, and I'm just loving being able to lead this book club with like the Bar 3 Philly community, because I love going there. I feel so at home. Anyways, you don't care about that. So final thoughts. I feel like this is no longer a 5-star. I think it's a 4, and it's only because I still agree with what I had said earlier in this video, where I said that it kind of felt exhausting, and it really did. I also had forgotten like an entire plot line towards the end regarding like Winnie and Marion and her lineage, her biological father, and like that really bothered me, kind of the way that it played out, because Marion is a single mom, and Winnie has never known who her biological father is, and has grown up with literally no other family except her mom. And so, you know, while it's nice that she's kind of gonna get a taste of that, maybe, I just didn't like how it played out, and I felt like it was gross and kind of, I mean, I'm trying to speak without spoilers, but I'm going to put a spoiler thing right here for just a minute so that I can talk freely. So, you know, if you've read this, Marin, we find out her daughter Winnie is a product of rape when she was 18 and about to go to college. And when she found out she was pregnant, her parents disowned her because she wanted to keep it. And I think her parents said that she wasn't allowed to have an abortion, but then like also wasn't allowed to keep it. They were like, you are relinquishing your child. Like, that's it. And when she decided she wanted to keep her daughter, her entire family just completely cut her off. And she was like living out of her car, and she was, became like a sex worker for a brief time. She took all kinds of jobs that are, humiliating for her, had never told Winnie what her biology was. And so she does find out through some stuff, and they end up meeting because the rapist's son from his current marriage needs like a bone marrow transplant, and like he's going to die if they don't find a match. And so they are like asking to get tested. His new wife like had no idea, obviously, that he raped a girl in high school. And so there's a lot more to it than that. But it just rubbed me weird the way that Marin and Winnie seemed like so okay with his actions. Like, well, he turned it around. He's become a good person now. And I mean, it's not immediate. It does take a little bit to get there. But I just don't, maybe it's just that I am like, so that seems like an unforgivable thing. And like, you can turn, your life around and like repent for your sins and like become a good person. But like the person that you've harmed doesn't get that luxury to just say, I'll do better next time or whatever. Like they didn't do anything wrong, but like they don't get the luxury of just kind of like saying, okay, well, that part of my life is over and I'm going to do it differently this time. Like, no. That's not how this works. It's like in the Brock Turner case where they were like, but he's got such a promising like life ahead of him. And it's like, well, what about her? Like her life is ruined. Her life is just absolutely never going to be the same. And he gets to just live. Anyways, that's another story. But I just thought that was kind of weird. I don't know. And I like that she's, maybe more empathetic than I would be, but she kind of also goes from like 0 to 60, and she's just like okay with hanging out with Winnie's biological grandfather. I don't know. There's a lot kind of at play there, but I don't know. Maybe I'm just mean. That will be the end of my spoilers. So overall, this was a 4-star. Things that didn't bother me last time did kind of bother me this time, and I don't know. I still had a good time reading it, but I think like looking at it a little more critically, especially with doing a book club setting for it, it didn't quite have the same effect as it did the first time. And, will always love a mommy drama, but unfortunately I think that it just wasn't quite what I had it hyped up to be in my head. Still recommend reading it because it is really fun, but this one just didn't hit me quite the same as during the first time I read it. So do with that what you will. I hope you enjoyed this edition of my 5-star rereads. I am planning a really exciting one for next month because it's kind of going to be like a double whammy, but we'll get into that when the next month comes, and I will be so excited to share that with you. So if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed, I would love it if you would, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!